Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered why your English sounds correct, but not quite natural? The answer might be simpler than you think. One tiny word, that is, very. We often use the word very in our communications. That never makes us sound native and advanced in English. And if you want to get up to the C1 level or C2 level of English, then you have to learn words that make you sound more native and advanced. So from today, you have to stop saying the word very and speak these 10 powerful words that native speakers actually use. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, The English Atelier. Whether you're taking your very first steps in English or refining advanced communication skills, this is a place where learning is simple, practical, and inspiring. So let's begin today's lesson. So the very first word that we use most oftenly is very happy. Very happy. Instead of the word very happy, we can say thrilled. Thrilled. For example, I was thrilled to hear that I got the job. I was thrilled to hear that I got the job. Instead of saying I was very happy to hear that, I would say I was thrilled to hear that I got the job. Now the next word is very hungry. Very hungry. Instead of it, we can say starving. Starving. For example, I'm starving. Let's order some pizza. I'm starving. Let's order some pizza. That means I'm very hungry. I want to eat something. Let's order some pizza. Now moving on to the next word. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Instead of it, you can say breathtaking. Breathtaking. For example, the mountain view was breathtaking. The mountain view was breathtaking. That means it was very beautiful. I loved it. Moving on to the next word. Very interesting. Very interesting. The things that you like or you find lovely. You say these are very interesting. But instead of it, you can say captivating. Captivating. For example, the documentary was absolutely captivating. The documentary was absolutely captivating. That means it was very interesting. I liked it. The next word, very funny. Very funny. Instead of it, you can say side splitting. Side splitting. So the things that are very funny, you find very funny, you can say those things, you can refer to them as side splitting things. For example, his stand-up show was side splitting for real. His stand-up show was side splitting for real. That means the comedy that he did in his stand-up show was very funny. We found that show very funny. It was side splitting. The next word is very clever. Very clever. We often say, that girl is very clever. The girls at my school are very clever. The boy sitting right there is very clever. But instead of it, we can say astute. Astute. For example, she made an astute observation. She made an astute observation. That means she made a very clever observation with diligence. The next word is very calm. We often say, her personality is very calm. She looks very calm in appearance. But instead of it, to sound more advanced, the C1 level English, you would say serene. Serene. For example, the lake looked serene at the sunset. The lake looked serene at the sunset. It was looking very calm. I loved gazing at it. Now you get a new word, gazing. That means looking at something. Now the next word is very rich. We often use that family is very rich. They have a lot of money. But instead of it, you can say affluent. affluent. For example, she lives in an affluent neighborhood. She lives in an affluent neighborhood. That means she lives in a very rich society, a very rich neighborhood, where all the people are very rich, they have a lot of money. Right. So the next word is very poor. Very poor. We see the people, walking down the streets, asking for a bit of money, a bit of something that can, help them in their lives, they have to ask for it because they are not so privileged as we are, so in place of the word very poor, you can say destitute. Destitute. For example, many families became destitute after the disaster. Many families became destitute after the disaster. They became very poor after the disaster. The next word is very confused. Very confused. Instead of it, you can say perplexed. Perplexed. For example, I was perplexed by his answer. I was perplexed by his answer. I was very confused. I was not able to actually decode what he was trying to say, So I was very confused. So I was perplexed. So this comes the end of my video, and you can comment down below for the free PDF of today's lesson. Happy learning!